Landman here. I study how people build financial ground and how it washes away when they're not looking. There is a specific failure mode that almost exclusively affects intelligent, high functioning people, and it is one of the most costly financial mistakes a person can make, measured in compounded dollars lost across decades. It does not come from impulsiveness. It does not come from ignorance. It comes from a quality that in most domains is a genuine strength. It comes from preparation, from the belief deeply held and internally consistent that now is not quite the right time, that the conditions are not yet optimal, that one more variable needs to be settled before the investment begins. This is the psychology of the fallow acre. The best ground left unplanted, while the person who owns it prepares to plant under more favorable conditions that never quite arrive. The word fallow describes agricultural land that is left unseeded during a growing season, deliberately rested to allow the soil to recover. Fallow ground is a real strategy. It has genuine agricultural value in specific contexts. The problem is when fallow becomes the default. When the rest period extends past one season, past two, past a decade, not because the soil needs recovery, but because the farmer has not yet resolved a question that felt important before planting began. The question changes. It was once about the job I'll start investing when the income stabilizes. Then it became about the debt I'll start when the student loans are paid. Then it was about the market I'll start when conditions look more favorable. The question is always slightly different. The result is always the same. The acre sits. The math of delayed investing is one of the most powerful demonstrations in all of personal finance, and it is almost universally underestimated because the human brain has a weak intuition for compounding. We understand linear growth. We do not naturally feel exponential growth. We know that $1,000 invested for 20 years is more valuable than $1,000 invested for 10 years. But the brain does not feel how much more. Let's make it specific. Suppose two people each invest $500 per month. Person A starts at 25. Person B starts at 35 10 years later. Both invest until age 65. At a 7% annual return, person A accumulates approximately $2,400,000. Person B, starting 10 years later with the same monthly amount, accumulates approximately $1,200,000. The 10-year delay cost person B over $1,200,000. Not because they invested less per month, not because they earned a lower return, because the 10 best compounding years, the early ones, when the base was small and the time horizon was longest, were left fallow. The soil was there. The seed was available. The season passed anyway. Here's what makes this failure mode unique to intelligent people specifically. The preparation trap. High-functioning people are genuinely good at identifying risk. They are good at finding the variables that are not yet resolved. They are good at building a case for waiting. And because their analysis is usually correct, the job is somewhat uncertain, the debt is genuinely present, the market is genuinely volatile, the decision to wait feels rational. It is rational in isolation. What the rational analysis fails to account for is the cost of the wait itself. Because waiting has a price, the price is compounded growth that will never exist. And that price is invisible. It is not a bill that arrives, it is a future that doesn't. This is the controversy I want to name directly. The financial planning industry, in many of its structures, inadvertently reinforces the preparation trap. The comprehensive financial plan that must be completed before investment begins. The emergency fund that must reach exactly 6 months before the first dollar goes to index funds. The debt payoff sequence that must be fully resolved before retirement contributions exceed the minimum. These frameworks are not wrong. They are built on genuine principles. But when they become sequential gates, when each must be fully passed before the next begins, they create a permission structure that can delay the beginning of compounding for years, sometimes for a decade. The cost of that sequentialism, measured in lost compounding, is almost never shown in the plan itself. The soil test for delayed investing is direct. Every month that passes without a ground-building investment is a month where the acre is fallow. Not resting. Fallow. There is a difference. A resting acre has a planned planting date. A fallow acre has a condition that must first be met, and the condition keeps moving. Landman's rule for the preparation trap is called parallel planting. You do not wait until one row is finished to begin the next. You plant the emergency fund and the minimum retirement contribution simultaneously. You address the high interest debt while maintaining the index fund contribution, even if the index fund contribution is small. The amount matters less than the beginning, because the beginning starts the compounding clock. And the compounding clock, once started, does something the preparation trap cannot. It works without your participation, without optimal conditions, without a resolved variable list. It simply runs. The specific number most people don't know, a single dollar invested at 25 is worth approximately $7.60 at 65 at a 7% return. That same dollar invested at 35 is worth $3.80. The 10-year delay cuts the dollar's future value in half. Not approximately. Roughly in half. Every dollar that sits in a checking account while the preparation conditions are being resolved is a dollar being taxed at approximately 50% by time. Silently. Without a bill. Without a statement. Without anything that looks like a cost, because the cost is a future that simply doesn't exist yet. The best time to plant was the day the acre was yours. The second best time is today. Not when the conditions improve. Not when the debt is retired. Not when the market settles. Today, with whatever amount is available on whatever ground currently exists. Because the alternative is another season of fallow. And fallow acres don't recover the seasons they missed. If this made you think differently about when your own planting begins, subscribe. That's all. Just subscribe. New ground here every week.